Hi, I'm Steve-O and this is Jen. We're digital nomads who travel the world and open doors along the way. Today we're in Siena, Italy. We can't wait to show you the towers, churches, and views of this amazing historical city. As you walk into town, you'll see a massive yet strangely drab church. You may think, well, there's a much more impressive church off in the distance, I can skip this one. But don't do it! This church is only boring on the outside. Inside the church, you'll find impressive art and one of the most unique relics you'll probably ever see. The Basilica Cateriniana is humongous and frankly a bit stark when it comes to interior design compared to other Italian churches. However, the sheer size of the church and the varying styles of art that decorate the space, especially the stained glass, make the gigantic room feel alive with color. There are remnants of frescoes on the walls and ceilings as you walk through the magnificent building. And that unique relic? The Cateriniana in Basilica Cateriniana is St. Catherine of Siena, and the relic in question is her nearly 700-year-old mummified head that sits in a bejeweled reliquary. Stained glass and severed heads? Sign me up!
There are specialty wine shops all over Italy called enotecas that are there to introduce folks who are interested in learning more about locally produced wines. These wine merchants are knowledgeable about the grapes and wines of the area and may have some hard-to-find local wines on hand. If you want to learn more about wine, or if you're already positive it's delicious, check out an enoteca to learn even more. All of the windy, hilly roads lead to the central piazza of Siena, the Piazza del Campo. If you do enough wandering around the city, you'll eventually find yourself here, and if you get lost, you can always look for the impressively tall Torre del Mangia. The piazza is shaped like a seashell and looks like a shallow amphitheater. There are many restaurants and souvenir shops all around the piazza, as well as the Fonte Gaia, which means joyous fountain. It's a white marble fountain decorated with ornate bas-reliefs.
Just look at it and look toward me and say it.
Has your wolf sprung a leak?
Dominating the piazza is the Palazzo Publico, a medieval palace that now houses a museum, and the gigantic and climbable Torre del Mangia.
We're right outside the Tourist Information Center here in Piazza del Campo. Inside, there are very helpful people with maps, and they can tell you how to get to all of the stuff you want to find.
They can also give you advice on what's going on today, if there's anything special going on, or if anything's closed, so you can get kind of a lay of the land when you first come here.
Public bathroom.
The Torre del Mangia stands 102 meters or 335 feet over the Piazza del Campo. Built in the 1340s, the tower is the exact same height as the Siena Cathedral to show that the church and the state had equal power in the city. That's a fun fact to know and share. There are 400 steps that take you to the top of the tower and a breathtaking view over this amazing city.
It may be controversial to say this, but Italian food is really good. You can grab a tasty panino or two for a pick-me-up from almost any food shop in Italy, and you won't be disappointed. We stopped at the San Paolo pub for a bit of a view of the Piazza del Campo and shared some delicious paninis to give us more fuel to enjoy all of the beauty Siena has to offer.
Is this pizza very big, or am I just very small?
Hard to say. Damn, that's a huge pizza. Just behind the Duomo, there's this unfinished part of the Duomo, and now it's a car park.
The Siena Cathedral is one of the most beautiful churches we've ever seen anywhere in the world. The exterior is built of stacked slabs of alternating white and a unique greenish-black marble that are just as stunning today as they were when the cathedral was built in the 12th century. The cathedral is hard to miss with its distinct coloring and position on top of a hill overlooking the rest of the city.
You'll need to buy a ticket to go into the cathedral, as well as a few other points of interest related to the cathedral. The ticket office is not easy to find and not very well marked for how important it is to the whole Siena Cathedral experience.
We were looking all over to find the ticket booth. We looked at every single entrance. It turns out it's on the left-hand side of the cathedral, and that's where you can go buy your tickets. We did the 13 euro tickets, and that gets us into everything except for the top of the Duomo.
The interior of the Siena Cathedral is one of the most ornate and grandly appointed rooms we've ever seen. Every square inch and centimeter of the space is covered in gold and art and golden art. There are busts and statues and fantastical paintings and sculptures of popes and saints and the Virgin Mary. Even the pulpit is a 750-year-old work of art. As you walk around the church, you'll find several uncovered sections of the floor that display intricate scenes laid out in marble. And you might ask yourself, well, why is the rest of the ground inside the cathedral so boring? That's because the entire floor of the cathedral is covered in similar marble work, but the rest is kept covered most of the year because it's best not to have people standing on centuries-old art all the time. There are certain times of the year when all of the floor artwork is uncovered, typically the end of June and all of July, as well as mid-August to mid-October, though the exact dates may vary. The floors were covered while we were there, unfortunately, but the mosaics we were able to see were unbelievable. There is a smaller room inside the cathedral lined with glass-cased books filled with golden script. When every book had to be handwritten and then copied by hand, it stands to reason that every book would be a work of art. This is the Piccolomini Library, named for Ennio Silvio Piccolomini, who would go on to become Pope Pius II. The frescoes along the walls of the library depict important moments from his life. The frescoes are colorful and bright and provide a nice contrast to the overwhelming Baroque grandeur of the cathedral. The room is small and foot traffic only goes one way. It only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to see the whole thing. As impressive as the cathedral looks, there were actually plans to make the church twice as big as it already is, all the way back in the 13th century. But that had to be canceled due to the Black Plague killing everybody. The remains of the planned expansion are still standing, and you can go walk up into them, but first you need to go through the Opera Museum. Opera Museum is impressive as a museum itself. The only problem it has is competing against one of the most beautiful cathedrals in the world, so it's hard to match up. The Opera Museum has an impressive collection of statues, tapestries, and ceremonial garments. But the main reason you'd want to go to the Opera Museum is to get to the top and up the stairs to the unfinished walls. There are two main ways to get a bird's eye view of Siena. You can climb the Torre del Mangia in the Piazza del Campo, or you can climb up to the unfinished walls of the cathedral. We would recommend you climb up the unfinished walls instead of the Torre del Mangia for a few reasons. It costs 10 euros to climb the 400 steps of the Torre del Mangia, and that's the only thing you get for 10 euros. The unfinished wall costs 13 euros, but you also get to visit the other spots around Siena Cathedral. Plus, when you're at the top of the walls, you can see the top of the Torre del Mangia. As you leave the Opera Museum and unfinished walls behind, you'll exit through the gift shop. And it is the fanciest gift shop in the world. I'm positive it would be hard to find a more exquisite place to buy a postcard that says, "The weather is here, wish you were beautiful." But, in Italian. After being stunned by all the immeasurable beauty of the cathedral and stunning view of Siena, it was time for the most important meal of the day, gelato. We went to La Vecchia Latteria because it was close by and had great reviews, but it's gelato. It's going to be good no matter where you go. Wherever you do end up going to get gelato, try the chocolate.
I have my ice cream and I'm going to eat Jen's too.
No! Now the crypt.
The crypt of the Siena Cathedral was abandoned and filled with rubble for over 700 years until it was rediscovered in the late 1990s. Frescoes from that time still adorn the walls, depicting scenes from the life of Jesus, as well as a scene from one of the apocryphal books of the Bible, the Gospel of Nicodemus, something I've never seen before or since. There are also displays of relics from the church's past, including really fancy cups. There are skylights in the crypt where you can look up into the cathedral to see just how deep you are underground. The baptistry is down a long flight of marble stairs below the main chamber of the cathedral itself. The Siena Baptistry is distinct from Pisa in Florence because it is not a separate building. Like everything else related to Siena Cathedral, this room is dripping in art. The main attraction for the baptistry is, of course, the baptismal font, but unfortunately for us, it was under repair the day of our visit, which means we'll have to go back. Hooray! Siena is an amazing city with so much to see and do and eat. We hope you found this video useful. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.